1-0 Mexico being able to beat a Jamaica side that was game, but still, man, Jamaica is very limited. Jamaica still have this offensive limitation that very few times um, they were able to truly give any problems to Mexico in goal. And I mean, overall, of course, I'm just game. It just ends. Julio Gonzalez, what, he had to make 3 interventions. That's basically it. I think more fans got hit with balls that they shot into the stands than Gonzalez had to intervene in the entire match. Mexico they squeezed out of this one, and they squeezed out of it. Again, it shows you, as much as I hate to say it, how limited CONCACAF is outside of Mexico and the United States, and well, yeah, now Canada as well. It's very limited. It's very, very poor, the performance from Mexico. Very few arguments. Yeah, I mean, a huge loss, gigantic loss, the loss of Edson Alvarez. And we'll see how that ends up affecting Mexico in the long run. I say it now because Mexico go into the CONMEBOL portion of their group stage. They'll play Venezuela. Venezuela coming in, and I already did a video on that, so you can talk about that. You can check out what I said. A team that's organized, a team that's gritty, a team that is dynamic, a team that has pace, a team that can really cause a lot of problems to Mexico. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Venezuela end up beating, and they want to win that game. They know that if they're able to get the 3 points, they go on to the next round, and for them it ends up being an exciting snowball that ends up getting bigger and bigger. Meanwhile, Mexico barely surviving against, like I said, a Jamaica side. I mean, Mikel Antonio played a good match. I mean, he was getting bricks and refrigerators and kitchen sinks and all types of stuff thrown at him. He was just bringing them down, at least in the first half. In the second half, things did change a little bit, but he was doing whatever he could up top. Damari Gray, I don't know if he was much of a factor at times. The crosses by Jamaica, I don't know what, they were just sending laser beams across a lot of times. And there was one in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes. No, not 20 minutes, about 10, 15 minutes. 6 Mexican defenders inside of the area, 2 attacking. And all of a sudden, I forgot who the player was. He's trying to filter a ball through, and no Jamaican player was making a run. So he's sending it into like 5 Mexican players senselessly. For me, if you ask me for a man of the match for Jamaica, it had to be Dexter Limbakiza. The shot he had outside, the work that he did defensively was very good. To me, he was, if not the man of the match, one of them. You have to consider him that. Again, and as I said before, if Jamaica needs to, Leon Bailey, if I can go, oh yeah, they needed Leon Bailey. Well, that's an easy answer. But there was really no one else that came through. Shamar Nicholson was sending balls into the stands. There's really nothing much that was being created. They were waiting a half second too much, taking too many touches just outside of the 18 to take shots to be able to just adjust themselves. Little things like that ended up creating a lot of problems for Jamaica to create opportunities of note. Overall, it wasn't. Again, like I said, I'm sorry. I have to look at what total shots for Jamaica, 13. And if you start adding in the shots that were blocked, I don't know, maybe it would have been like 27, 28. Because they were hitting defenders, they were diving into them. You didn't see a lot from this Jamaica side that you could think, well, they got a goal disallowed. Yeah, unluckily, Mikel Antonio ends up getting a goal disallowed, but it was disallowed properly. I don't know, you tell me. Again, Jamaica, not that I don't rate them. People say, oh, no, it's not that I don't rate them. I just don't think that they're as good as they could be and as they should be. There's no one really organizing the middle. There's no one really giving him any sense of organization in the middle. It's a team that depends on their pace a great deal. And at times it works, but there comes a match, especially when Mexico slows the game down. Edson Alvarez injury, I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise. I would hate to say that because that sounds awful, but Edson Alvarez coming off forces Mexico to start possessing and moving it around and having a bit more criteria. Slowing the game down sometimes is good. especially against a team that know only one speed. And when they have that one speed, they're imprecise. Jamaica continue being imprecise when they have the ball. Yeah, you see them. You see that there's a potential for they have. I mean, not the potential. They have the technical skills to be able to handle the ball out of back. But again, they're very imprecise, and they make bad decisions, and they make poor decisions in very critical moments. Jamaica and Mexico understood that. So what do? Okay, let's handle it. Let's move it around. Let's relax a bit. Okay, we lost our leader. Let's see. And there were a lot of innocent moments on Jamaica's part that Mexico couldn't take advantage of. The way that Jamaica are defending, dropping back, the way that you saw them kind of spacing themselves out. The Arteaga goal, I mean, it's just a pass. Oh, here, you take it. Shoot. Now it's a golazo. Great goal by Arteaga. But that shouldn't happen if you're from a defensive standpoint. He shouldn't be able to just look over, okay, here, you take it. Like that. You know, it was maybe 5 meters. It shouldn't happen, but it did. And that's where Jamaica's tactical, their defensive innocence, and I say innocence a lot because it just seems like they kind of give certain things away in a very easy manner. And that's what ends up being the big problem for Jamaica in order to take that next step forward. They got to get rid of that innocence. They got to get rid of that naivete in order to be able to face Mexico. Because as of right now, Jamaica can make that leap. And this was one of those matches that should have done it, that could have done it. Because put that, that great leap forward, if you will, in terms of quality or seeing where Jamaica really are, which is basically where they've always been, although they have more talent, or although they have more talent and more names, but together it seems like it's a mishmash of a lot of things, and that's where they end up suffering. Kind of like Mexico to a certain extent, because Santi Jimenez did nothing today. And all the Mexican pundits that we're talking about, oh, Santi Jimenez has to play. Santi Jimenez did shit today. Plain and simple. Now, was Henry Martin going to be the answer? No, he wasn't. I mean, because it's just one of those matches that, well, that might have not happened. Was Alexis Vega going to be the answer? No, that's why he didn't play. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, obviously, is Cesar Huerta going to be? No, he wasn't. He wasn't going to be the answer. And the match dictated the play. Or Orbelin Pineda wasn't going to be the answer either. Obviously, with Martin, I'm just kind of blurting Martin out, but because that was the name that many were mentioning. But that ends up being Mexico's problem. Now, they face Venezuela. The intensity and the level of team goes up various notches compared to Jamaica. I'm sorry to say that, my friends in the Caribbean, but it's the truth. When they play Ecuador, same thing. Although maybe right now they're not at the same level. Maybe they are. I don't know. But it's somewhere around there. The intensity will increase. The quality will increase. The quality of team will increase. And that will be the telltale sign. Because if Mexico win this game, great. But if they don't win the next two, they're out. And this is where Mexico are really going to be tested. These next two matches are where Mexico are really going to be tested. Because you end up facing a team that's hungry in Venezuela, and you end up facing a team that's needy in Ecuador. And we have to see how Ecuador play against Jamaica too. Because who knows? If they lose, then that game even becomes a more of a must-win situation for Ecuador. And of course, we have to see how that ends up playing out, because the scenarios could be that both teams go into that final match with 3 points. Let's say Jamaica ends up winning against Ecuador. It's a possibility. I don't see it. But you do have a possibility in the final round where Ecuador has 1 point, Mexico has 3, and Ecuador with a win ends up overtaking Mexico. It's a possibility. I don't know. You tell me. Thanks, folks. Talk to you soon. And we'll stay in touch. Ciao.